Good morning. Um, I want to talk to you about something that happened to me yesterday. Um, so, this video is very personal. It's about my own life and a situation that I'm going through, as some of you might know. Now, if this doesn't interest you, don't watch the rest of the video. It's pointless. It's got nothing to do with work or drumming or anything like that. So, before I get into the actual content and what I want to share with you, I want to say that this video is not an attack on my child's mother, okay? Um, I know that in these situations everyone gets into a war, father versus mother, mother versus father, and it becomes extremely tribal and toxic. This is not what this is about, okay? Nothing of what I'm about to share with you um, has anything to do with her. All right. I don't want to waste a lot of time during this video adding caveats and explanations as to why I'm not attacking her. So let's just establish that this is not about her. So even if she comes up, it's for context, not because I'm attacking her. So lately, unfortunately, um, my son's mom and I haven't been able to get along, and that's compromised my relationship with my son, Luis. Um, because of that, I decided to apply for a child contact center, and they sort of work as a middleman, right? So they create that separation between parents who are not really being able to avoid the toxicity. So that's very noble what these centers do, because they provide a safe environment for the parents who are no longer living with the child to be able to see the child in what I would call a safe and neutral environment. So this video is about the fact that some of these centers, and particularly the one that I've been attending, are not all that neutral, and there's a clear bias against the people attending it. Or in my case specifically, if I don't want to get into generalizations because I haven't spoken to anyone else who's attending the center, there's a bias against me as the father. Let me contextualize. 2 weeks ago, it was a visit day, and my son's mom was late, substantially late. And I was annoyed, and I understand that people make mistakes. I understand. It's fine. I'm over it. I got annoyed at the time, obviously, because, I have 2 hours every fortnight with my son. So when someone is late by half an hour, I've just lost a quarter of my allowance for 2 weeks. Okay? So yes, you become emotional, you become frustrated. My reaction, I decided to report that with the center at the time, and then via email. That's just the nature of the beast, right? You have to report these things. Okay. That was done via email, just so it stays logged. No issues there. I get an email back saying that it was addressed, but then I'm requested that I give back toys that I bought for my son. This request came from my son's mom, but to which I responded, I feel like that's a strange deflection here, that we're suddenly kind of overriding an actual issue that happened with some sort of like, you don't need those toys, so give them back. I'm not gonna, right? That insulted me in a way, that this is even something that the child contact center would be willing to engage with, because it's clearly not neutral. Like, it's almost an assumption of, you're not gonna need those toys, so give them back. Or give them back, I mean, I bought them, so it's not even give them back, it's more like give them up. So I didn't like that. I addressed it. I said that, I don't find that that's relevant when I'm reporting, the fact that they were late. And that was the end of that, okay? I basically also said that I don't find it um, appropriate that they are doing the messenger's role. Okay? All right. Yesterday was visit day again. My son was there on time, no problems there. But right before he arrived, the manager decided to sit down with me and basically tell me that I'm not to quiz my son as to why he was late. Now, I need to give you some more context there. When he was late 2 weeks ago, I assumed that his mom was frustrated as well and maybe forced him a little bit more assertively to hurry up. And when he got to me, he started crying, and I asked, as any normal parent would ask, what's wrong? Okay, if your child is crying on your shoulder, you don't just go, there, repress. You ask what's wrong. He told me, Mommy told me off. Well, also any normal parent would now ask, why did she tell you off? Let me explain you why you should ask this. It's not because you're trying to fish for an angle to blame your ex-partner. It's because you want to assess if were you told off because you did something wrong or not. In this case, I think not. But that was the end of the conversation. The moment he told me, I got told off because, and the gist of it was, we were late, so she was rushing me to get into a taxi, and I wasn't rushing enough, and I got told off. I don't find that appropriate, but the conversation ended there because there you go. I don't think he did anything wrong, so that was the end of the conversation. I didn't pursue anything else. Now, bear in mind that this is all happening with a ton of people surrounding me, right? These are supervised visits. So it's not like I'm prodding my kid and like shoving it, right? And the whole insinuation that I was interrogating him is very, very insulting. So back to yesterday. I'm told to never quiz my son as to why his mom was late again. Quiz, and that was the word used. Do not quiz your child in regards to his mom. I didn't react well to the choice of words, so I pushed back. I didn't quiz my son. He came to me crying. I asked him, what's wrong? And I'm told, conversations between you and your son are to stay child-friendly. I'm still not really engaging at the level that I'm not understanding the language. Or I am, and I'm not understanding why that language is being used. So a couple of sentences later, I just say, I will always ask my son what's wrong when he comes to me crying. Always. And no one's going to tell me otherwise. And basically, the implication from then on was, if you're not doing what you're told, there might be consequences. Meaning, right, like since they are the ones that allow you the access to your child, you understand what the implication is, right? Now, this isn't correct. This is of an emotional violence that it's pretty hardcore. And these centers need to be held accountable for the environment they create for the parents as well as the children. I understand that the children are at the core of everything. But if you're emotionally blackmailing a father into being told that you can't engage in any kind of honest discourse with your child, or else, this is emotional blackmail. Basically, I was told, just comfort him. Well, I don't believe in repression, so I'm not just gonna, give him a pat on his back and be like, there, stop crying. That's not how I parent, and that will never be how I parent. Like I said, the moment I realized that it had nothing to do with something that he did wrong, so there was no parenting required, so to speak, I moved on. All right? I didn't sit there nagging him about his mom. I've never done that. Anyway, point being, We need to address these issues. We need to assess the centers who are assessing us. It's not right that parents are being put into the same bucket as everyone else. People are different. People are there at those centers for different reasons. Some people are going through some rough patches in life. Some people simply cannot get access to the child for no other reason but a broken relationship. It happens. It's fine, I guess. That's why these systems exist. But when the bias is so clear against one side, and no one ever asked me during that conversation, okay, so what happened? What's your version of those events? No one asked me that. They walked up to me and bam, 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 accusation, 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 assumption, assumption, assumption. Well, I don't care for that. And I will not compromise my integrity, honesty, and the way I interact with my child in terms of the way I choose to parent him. And I'm not saying that I hold the truth, but this is the way I choose to parent him, which is based on honesty and conversation and dialogue. Then I don't understand why a child contact center has to make those assumptions about someone who they don't know. They claim it's their job to keep things child-friendly. Well, I agree, but it's my job to make sure that my son is behaving appropriately, that my son is safe, that my son is growing up to be the man that I can only hope to be for him today. So this whole thing of this tilt that I keep feeling against the fathers, against the non-resident parents, like this has got to stop. So if you know of a story or anything like that, please share that, because yeah, well, bottom line is I've decided to not attend that center anymore, and we'll see what happens. But I had to speak the truth. There you have it, guys. Love and kindness. Be happy. Take care.